A medical condition which seems to be neglected, and many people would like first of all to know you, because this is your first time of coming on this very platform, the agenda. You tell us a little bit about yourself and what you've been doing before we dive into serious business.
Okay, my name is Ashu Egbe. I'm a sickle cell patient. I've been advocating for sickle cell awareness for more than 30 years. I'm 56 years old, sickle cell warrior. So I'm actually I've been living with sickle cell for 56 years. I think for the purpose of this interview, that is me. There are other things that I do, but I think for the purpose of today, I'm coordinating the Ashu Egbe Foundation and also Cameroon, which is an NGO for sickle cell awareness.
Okay, but many people would like to know what sickle cell disease is all about. Maybe you can, define what it is all about, the medical condition is all about.
Yes, sickle cell is an inherited disease. There is no way you can get it except from, from your parents. It means that you can only get it from your mother and father. So it's a genetic condition that can only be inherited from the parents, and it's a blood-related genetic condition. The blood has what they call the hemoglobin that carries oxygen, from the lungs to the different parts of the body. And the hemoglobin, normal hemoglobin has this shape, but people who have sickle cell have what they call the sickle shape. Sickle like a farmer's sickle, or like the shape of a banana. So that's where the name sickle cell comes from. This deformed shape actually is the reason why most sickle cell patients would actually have crisis, because the flow of blood in their blood, the vessels is not smooth, it's not normal because of the not, round shape like the normal. So most of this hemoglobins in the vessels are in that banana shape, and of course the flow cannot be regular and normal.
Yeah, there's this belief when you introduce yourself, I was like, wow, you don't look like somebody who is a sickle cell patient. And there's this belief that at a certain age, people who have sickle cell anemia will eventually die.
Yeah, there are myths that sickle cell is witchcraft, which is not true. I just said it's genetic, so it's scientifically proven that it's genetically related and transmitted, so it's not witchcraft. Second, about the age limit. Before, maybe some 20, 30, 50 years ago, when the medical care and knowledge about sickle cell was not very good, most children were dying before even the age of 5.
Yeah.
Because of the poor care due to lack of knowledge. Some even in the rural areas, because of the treatment as witchcraft, were not taken to the hospital for treatment, so children were dying. But with improved medical health care, people are living above the age limit that they gave us, which is 21. I just said that I am 56 years old. I know people who are 60 years and above, 40, 30, 50. So there are many people living with sickle cell who are above the 21-year age mark, and it's because of the better health care and the discipline and taking good care of themselves. You just said I don't look like one.
Actually, you don't.
Yeah, but it's probably because of, I can say, discipline, because of the continuous care and regular follow-up. Imagine that I visited a young guy about 2 months ago in the hospital. For the last 6 months, he has been admitted with a crisis every month for at least 1 week. A painful crisis some people describe it as being more than the pains that a woman goes through while in labor. So imagine that you are going through that, and you have been doing that for continuously for 6 months. Every month you are in the hospital. The chances are you look pale, you look tired, you look weak, and you will not look, so that look that associated with it is because of all the stress, physical stress, mental stress, at times even the financial.
Yeah.
Some people don't get to even go to the hospital because they don't have the means, the money to go to the hospital for treatment.
Yeah, prevention, it is often said that prevention is better than cure. Your foundation has been doing a lot across communities in Cameroon, to try to sensitize the population on the need for them to get tested before they ever get married. Can you elaborate more on the operation, know your status that the Ashu Egbe Foundation has been embarking on across communities in Cameroon?
Yes, the Operation Know Your Genotype, we launched that last year, actually, because we believe that when people know their status, their genotype, they will be able to make informed decisions before marriage. The statistics that we have from the Ministry of Public Health is that 1 out of 5 Cameroonians is a carrier of the sickle cell gene. That is, they actually say it's about between 20 and 22% of Cameroonians are carriers of the sickle cell gene. And I think about more than 90% of these people who are carriers don't know that they are carriers. Now, before we go into even the details, we'll say, well, who is a carrier?
And who is not a carrier?
Who is not a carrier?
Yes.
The normal gene, sickle cell gene, is the A, is referred to as A normal. So you have, if you inherit 2 normal genes from your parents, the mother and father, you'll be normal. You have AA, you'll be AA. But somebody who inherits a normal gene from the father or from one of the parents and the sickle gene from the other parent will be AS. So you have a normal gene and a sickle gene, and you'll be a carrier, but you'll be healthy. In most of the cases, there are a few cases of some people who are AS who might be, not too well.
Yes.
But you'll be healthy, and it's usually referred to as healthy carriers, which means you are carrying this gene and you can pass it on
to another
to your children. To your children, actually.
So how do you ensure that you don't pass it on to your children?
It's by knowing your status and knowing who is compatible with you. So that's why we're targeting especially the youth, because people need to even know a way before the time for marriage. Imagine that
they will tell you that when love is involved, we cannot give away, we cannot give up love for.
Indeed. Indeed, we have had cases of people coming to us for counseling. A lady in her late 30s, that is an age when women think that they really need, if they have to have children, it's good to have it before 40.
Yes.
It's safer, I think, that's medically. Now they were to get married, then they did the test, and they realized that they were all carriers. When 2 people who are carriers meet, there is 25% probability during each pregnancy. So I repeat, it's during each pregnancy to have a child who will be born with sickle cell. It's only 25%, you may say, but do you want to take the risk, or do you want to test God and say, oh, it's only 25%? So they stopped the marriage, and she went ahead and started her life, and later, maybe a year after, she got another man, and when they did the test, it was the same AS. So she was worried, what should she do? Should she go ahead, or should she stop the relationship again? You know, so what I was referring to AS, like, this is, we're saying that we're targeting the youth, especially because when they, you know, people after, from the age of 18, 20, they start having relationship. And it's good to start talking about it already, discussing at that early stage of the relationship.
So that's what I was going to ask you, that how important is it for people to know their status before marriage?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That is very important. So you can take that decision whether to continue with that relationship or not. Do you want to go ahead and have children who have sickle cell? I still have crisis, although I don't look like it, as you say.
Yes.
But when I have crisis, it's very, very painful. I just describe the crisis that are like a woman in labor pains. And I would not like to see people go through that, to have a family, have a child who would have sickle cell and go through all that. Because it's not only just the pains by the sickle cell child, but it's the stress on the family, the
financial stress,
financial health care, the caregiver. You know, if a child is in the hospital for 1 week, it means you have to be in the hospital with that child for that 1 week. So it's not just the finances, it's the time, is the psychology. Until recently, you know, until when some of them get to like the support group that we run.
Okay, so how bad is the situation in Cameroon? Because according to the United Nations, we are reading that 6,000 births of sickle cell children, their babies are born each year, and within these babies that are born, 9% of them, they have the disease, and 22% are carriers among the 6,000 children that are born each year in Cameroon.
Yeah,
is the situation really bad? Is it?
Well, you tell me 22% of Cameroonians carrying the sickle cell gene.
Yes.
I think it's a public health issue. It's supposed to be a public health issue. It's supposed to be a concern by the authorities. It's supposed to, we all, even not just the authorities, we all are supposed to know our genotype. And it's because it's a condition that can be corrected.
Yes.
You can move from that 22% to less than 15, why not 10? In the next 20 years or so, I don't want to say 5 years, because it's taking us a lot in the area of campaign, just raising awareness for people to even know about sickle cell. Because there's a lot of ignorance. Some people will say,
to beat it to witchcraft is what is happening in the villages.
Even those who are educated, at times they think they relate it to blood group. Sickle cell genotype is not blood group. It's not. You ask somebody, do you know your genotype?
But is there a possibility that somebody who does not have that gene get married to somebody and they end up having a child that is of that medical condition? How possible is that?
It's very, very, very rare.
You were telling me of a case that you are handling right now.
It's very rare, but it's from the recent testimonies that we've had from not just Cameroon, UK, and some people testifying. They say it's possible, and it's probably because of, you know, some member of the grandparent of the family who had it. So you'll go back to the family history to see if there's a trace of sickle cell. You know, so if, for instance, the case of a woman who will have a child because she is AS and the husband is AA, and the family are saying that the child cannot be their own, it's possible that the child is having sickle cell is from the two, because now it's to go through the family history, and possibly at times we even advise them to do a DNA test, at least to give the paternity of the child. But those are cases that are very rare. You know, so most often it is people who are carriers, right? And that's why even when you go to when you're doing counseling,
Yes.
you want to look at the cases of two people who are carriers and probably discourage them.
Yes, not to get
not
married.
to get married. But it's your opinion. At the end of the day, they will decide to go ahead with the marriage.
Yes, like you're talking about opinion and couples will decide.
Okay.
You are championing a move that will see a bill go through parliament and probably be made a law and compulsory for people to get tested in Cameroon before they can get married.
Yes, if today in the U.S., where the number of people living with sickle cell is reducing, and the people who are carriers have reduced considerably, is because of the law that is in place in such in those countries, in the U.S. and Europe.
Yes.
Nigeria last year voted a law for compulsory testing before marriage. And this, if a law like that was to be voted in Cameroon, it will make our work even easier. Our work of campaigning, sensitizing, people would know that they have to do the test before marriage. You know, but you see, the idea is not even to wait until you are about to get married. You see, imagine that you have been living for 3 years living together, because usually most people for live for 2-3 years,
yeah,
right?
Come we stay.
It's not necessarily come we stay. You are boyfriend, girlfriend for about 2 years. You are not necessarily staying together, but you are there. You have that commitment towards marriage. But if you wait until the day,
and just imagine the energy, the time taken to know each other, just at the end of the day for you to realize that you both cannot do it. So people should even get tested before they even take their relationship seriously.
Indeed, and that's why we're saying that we're targeting that age group which should know about sickle cell, who are starting a relationship, who are in that age, usually from the like we said, 20 years.
20 years
the people in the universities, the youth are already starting relationship. So that time you should know, and when you start a relationship, you already start asking questions about this. During the discussions, it shouldn't be like, do you have sickle cell, or do you know about sickle cell? But you should at least talk about it, and if you already know your status, you should get your partner to also know that status.
Okay. What piece of advice can you give parents with children suffering from, sickle cell, watching us at this time? Probably the kind of food, the lifestyle that they have to live, so that they can be able to cross that age. Many people think that you cannot cross it when you have that kind of medical condition.
At the foundation, we have 2 areas we are focusing on. We have the awareness, that operational genotype and raising awareness, but we also have the sickle cell management part of it.
Yes.
Taking care of people who have the sickle cell condition. And we are partnering with some hospitals to run what we call sickle cell clinics. A sickle cell clinic is a day in a month in that hospital where sickle cell patients come for controls and routine checkup, and they meet the doctor, they get to meet other sickle cell patients, and they talk about living happily in this community and living a good life with sickle cell. What advice can I give to them? That they should not see sickle cell as a death sentence. I lived my life, and I don't see sickle cell as any hindrance to me living a good life. I usually say that I can die tomorrow of something else, but not necessarily sickle cell. The other day we were in Limbe for one of the sickle cell clinic days.
Yes.
And I was asking them if during the cholera came,
yes,
and some people died, they did not die of sickle cell. The sickle cell patients who were there survived the cholera. So it means that if they are disciplined and do what they are supposed to do, they can live a healthy life and avoid crisis and live above that age limit that attacked them. Yeah. I use my case as an example to always give hope to parents, because usually a parent has a baby, they say it's sickle cell, and in the community already it's attacking, stigmatizing and telling the parent that that child will not live long. And you, as a parent, will say, okay, maybe I will not, there's no need to even spend money on a child who is not going to live long. So that's already psychological defeat. And the child at times may, because of some crisis, you say it's draining your finances and stressing you up. So you ask what should they do?
Yes.
They should avoid stress, because stress can lead to a crisis. They should drink plenty of liquid, most preferably water, not non-alcoholic.
Okay.
They should go for regular follow-up checkups, controls. They should avoid infections. A child normally at the very youthful age wants to play football under the rain light.
Yes.
Like the friends. But they should avoid that, because extreme temperature, cold and heat can start a crisis. So they should keep the children warm. You see a child, at times they say, okay, Vola is very hot. But they should not expose the child's legs. I try to avoid exposing my chest, my legs, to cold, because it might be hot but it's windy.
Okay.
So there's all that. Then you take the medication that you have to take every day. Folic acid is very small tablet. It's small tablet, okay. Very tiny, but you take it every day. It helps to boost the hemoglobin system.
I was going to ask you this question, but seeing you as a living testimony, but I will still ask you for the purpose of the question. Is it possible for somebody to, have these medical conditions, still get married and live a normal life?
Yes, I'm living a normal life. I'm married. I have 5 children. One condition for my wife was for her to be AA, to be normal. I must say that I've had cases where the relationship could not continue, and my wife usually says that I came back from the UK because of her. Maybe that was the destiny. And today we are happily married.
And your children are free from the condition?
No, they are all AS, and they know that they are AS. Yes. Last year they even did the test again to confirm. So they know that tomorrow they cannot get married to another person who is AS.
Okay.
Because my wife is AA, I'm SS. So which means I'm always giving the S gene to all the children, and she is giving the A. So the children are carriers, but they are not sick, they are healthy. But they can pass on the sickle cell gene too. But they know, at this, even my last child who is 13, knows she's AS, and so she knows that tomorrow she can only get married to somebody who is AA if she wants to avoid having children who have sickle cell, because they usually see me when I'm in crisis and what I go through.
Okay, the people watching us at this time, you've been doing this, and definitely you need money to be able to run all the campaigns, all the sensitization campaigns across communities that you've been doing. And you were telling me that you've been doing this by stretching your hands deep into your pockets. How difficult has it been? Have you not been knocking at the doors of maybe the Ministry of Public Health and other partners who assist you to carry on with this job? Because I've never heard of any NGO in Cameroon that is, championing this kind of fight that you are championing. Many people still, they concentrate on other public health issues and forgetting about this. Reading from the statistics that is coming from the UN, it shows that it is a public health, issue that has to be tackled with care in Cameroon.
Yes, in terms of financing, it's not been easy. We are grateful to some friends and family members who have been supporting the cause. We have been contacting some organizations, but it's not been easy. I guess most organizations get a lot of requests from many NGOs.
Let's begin with our own government. I'm talking about the Ministry of Public Health of Cameroon.
The Ministry of Public Health, like I said, this is not. We said this is the first time you're seeing an NGO running this course. There are other organizations that are for the cause, and I think recently there's a consortium that is bringing all these organizations together so they can work as one, speak like in one voice, and as a united front, maybe we can get better things done. Hopefully, we are hoping that as a united front, the Ministry of Public Health can come on board. But not only the Ministry of Public Health, the international organizations. Recently, I was in Yaoundé and went to some embassies and some United Nations agencies and made some requests. So hoping that they will join us in this campaign, because it's something that needs
urgent
attention.
Yes.
And also, we are looking at our politicians, our elites, because we believe that elites can champion development in their areas. Recently, an elite sponsored the free screening for sickle cell in this village. So we think that elites can do that too, and we are available to work with elites who want us to go to their communities to get the test done.
All right, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for coming to talk about this public health issue that many people seem to neglect in the country, and hopefully the media is going to join you in this sensitization campaign so that we can have the rate reduced in Cameroon. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
My Media Prime TV, the African Eye. In the house, your talk show.
Hello there.